Last week, we checked on one of the market leaders, Solana, which was looking for a little bit of a short-term pullback followed by a nice breakout to that 70 or so-ish dollar number. It looks like we've gotten that just now. So what is the next sort of piece of analysis? We'll also follow up on some Bitcoin. And then also I do want to present a project that I'm working with because they're literally just offering some free signals or some free, I wouldn't say signals. That's the wrong terminology because it's not really signals. What they are is it's just data. It's data that can help maybe your own discernment. And they're offering it for free in their own Discord. So other than that, I want to welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. It's a nice little Tuesday morning over here. It's fight week, baby, but it's also Krown trading week as well because we have the new website ready. The HPDR bundle is ready. The new price for the Krown Quant automation is also ready, and a lot of things are changing over here. I just want to let you know that the new URL is in the description below. Of course, it's www.crowntrading.net. And if anything weird is happening, if you don't see this page over here, just do a hard refresh, or Control plus Shift plus R. That's the one that you want, a hard refresh. Got to clear that cache. Baby. But all of your accounts and programs should have naturally been transferred over. If you have any issues at all whatsoever, email support@crowntrading.net and they will sort you off and then suck you off. And then we're going to go over to Solana. Speaking of being sucked off, so starting off right in over here with Solana. We were looking, or I think we picked this one up last, actually it was probably like a few weeks ago. We were looking at this 48-ish or so dollar number as the big area to be aware of, around that 50% retracement, about 46.5 actually to be exact. And that was providing the impetus for a little bit of a short-term pullback here on the daily. That was, well, rather quickly reaccumulated and then busted on through. And as you can see, Bitcoin, it's not Bitcoin, but Solana moving up towards that next major fib right in over here, directly almost in alignment with the breakdown numbers that we did see from May of 2022. So this is a really good place for a nice higher term time frame pullback, and perhaps for more of you long term people there, or some more altcoin minded people I suppose as well. Maybe an opportunity, maybe a chance to get in this one if that is what you are looking at. But ultimately, as far as what we're looking at right here, yeah, pullback very likely just by the nature of retesting this breakdown region over here again from May 2022. Also the 618 fib on a macro fib here, basically from the ultimate high to the ultimate low. And if we go here, if we go down to the daily, we can also see that there is clear and obvious bearish divergence come off these last couple highs, in alignment with the daily jewel also turning down here too. So a lot of things kind of working hand in hand with this as a likely corrective phase incoming. Generally speaking, wouldn't want to see this one crack too far below the 50% retracement on the weekly here, which is about, let's just call it $46 on a higher term time frame closure. So coming down there, maybe even wicking below there, completely fine. But ultimately, don't want to see like closures below there, or I don't know, do we want to make this more of a round number, perhaps like more like 45? Fair enough, whatever. You get the idea. Higher lows are in play here as this one does complete the macro reversal. Now that it does have a nice breakout, looking for that next higher low essentially is what I'd be looking at. Of course, should also denote that the 5-day time frame getting stopped right at that white 200 simple moving average. Again, just another piece of confluence that this one probably wants to pull back and spend some time consolidating, and I suspect that this one might take a little bit longer within this particular range, but ultimately it is on higher low watch as we do see that the weekly time frame has freshly gotten a weekly silver cross between the yellow 21 and the green 55. I mean, I shouldn't have to say that because silver cross is only between the 21 and the 55, or the 20 and the 50. But some people just call like anything that's a positive cross or a bullish cross a golden cross, and vice versa for a death cross. Like, that's not fucking true. And maybe I'm just a bit of a stickler for that. But yeah, anyways, more into the point, especially as long as that silver cross is active, it's time for higher low watch. Nice little area would be about $46. If that area does crack to the downside and we do start to see higher term time frame closures below there, at that point, I'd probably be looking anywhere around the weekly 21. That would be the next sort of obvious area of interest. Also, I should bring up the HPDR bands over here. We can see a couple of interesting things. We can see the 80% of historic returns range retracement comes in around that $46, $47 region. So again, some good confluence there if we do have a short-term breakdown. And if you are one of the pattern-minded folk out there in the world, is this a herp and derp? With a left shoulder right here, head right here, and a right shoulder. I guess you could say that. Kind of an awkward neckline, something like that. But let's just see what the implied target would be if it does play out in such a fashion. And what do you know? It'd kind of be down around where we're looking at, somewhere between about $46 to maybe as low as $43. So somewhere within that range on this pullback, I do suspect is rather likely. The question is, once things get there, does that higher low form? Do we start to see some process of bottoming? And if you do, that'd be a damn good signal that, hey, yeah, this one is going to be reaccumulated, and the next the next move to the upside that likely does break the 618 should bring this one back into triple digits. Actually, okay, maybe not triple digits. The next obvious target would be about $90 or 88 if you want to be exact, somewhere right around here. But I don't think that would necessarily stop it for forever. I do think that that'd be a short-term stopping point, kind of similar to the one that we did see a few weeks ago, and then bust on through probably above three digits. I do think that this one, I wouldn't say it's programmed. It's a terrible thing to say as a trader, but becomes more and more likely, obviously. Also of note here, I wanted to bring over, I think it was a 6-hour time frame that we looked at last for Solana on the Oracle. This one called along way back on over here on 15th of October after actually doing okay during this choppy period. I mean, more or less just spinning its wheels, but small gains here. But this one was certainly a big gainer over here. I do want to say that this is likely going to close relatively soon. You can see that is turned gray, which indicates that this one, is on the verge of having that next sort of sell signal after the big buy signal over here. So ultimately, it might have a short-term bounce, certainly possible, but the second that this one turns red, okay, just another confirming factor that says, hey, it's been a nice run. It's been a very impressive run, in fact, a run that went over 200%, pretty damn crazy when you actually put it into context. Might be reasonable to be looking for at least a consolidation here, probably a greater pullback on a higher term time frame. Just my personal opinion. Anyways, we can now go over to Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin versus the versus the dollar. No, what I mean to say is versus the HBDR bands. Let's go actually over to CME. And I just want to point out that on the daily, it continues to close and use that median as sort of a nice balancing point for this one. Now, today has actually opened below the median, which is, which we haven't seen in a while. But of course, it all depends where the close does indeed occur. Now, there is a very obvious reversal point now based off the way that yesterday did close. If Bitcoin closes today below yesterday's low, kind of in alignment with that gap coming in from last Friday, or the 17th, then yeah, I'd be looking for this one to initiate the pullback, that I was kind of, a little more biased towards in my personal opinion, not necessarily that matters all that much, while this indicator was suggesting, as it was correct yesterday, still, upside and bound, which Bitcoin did have a nice little short upside move yesterday. But if you do see that, then ultimately I'd be looking for it to first come in and try a base somewhere around about 35,500, somewhere around there. Probably tries for a bounce there. If the bounce fails, then I would be looking closer to like 33.5 or so, maybe even $33,000 on spot if things get really, really crazy. But for right now, keep your eye on that median. If Bitcoin reclaims it by end of day, then this thing's going to break out before Friday, and it's very likely going to head towards $40,000 now as this continues to get marched on up. But again, that median is coming in where 37,700 or just above 37,700, which CME is trading about $300 below as of right now. But it's a long day left to go, 16 hours, 13 minutes, and 51 seconds. And as we did see yesterday, there's some time spent below it. I believe when I was recording, it was a little bit below it, but ultimately it all matters where it closes. So. There are some important, economic events coming into today. I think NVIDIA's earnings are coming out, and that's going to drive traditional markets, which are looking pretty good, and might even influence Bitcoin as well as Bitcoin, we think if you've been paying attention in the past few years, Bitcoin did have a nice strong correlation towards especially NASDAQ. Less so now. It really hasn't had much in the past few months here. But yes, you can see again these ranges continue to get marched on up. Okay, good for the BULAs. But I'd be cognizant of coming back down below yesterday's low. If we go over here to spot price action, yeah, that looks a lot more like it wants to come back down. And so maybe my opinion will indeed be correct in this particular instance. And as far as spot goes, yeah, there's probably a short-term bounce at 30. What did we say on CME? Was it 35.5? Yeah, 35.5, but spot price action says don't trust that bounce. Don't trust that bounce. Probably coming down to low 34, and then maybe even again towards that low 33. Those would be the areas that I'd be potentially looking at for a quick washout low, and then try for another move to the upside if it kind of grinds it out. Again, Bitcoin had this pretty phenomenal move to the upside, similar to Solana. It's not too crazy to think that maybe, just maybe, it might consolidate for a little bit longer. Personally speaking, I do think that the next, quote unquote, bigger move comes in December, as we'll go over probably later this week or maybe over the weekend. Yes. Okay. So we've got that. What else do we want to get into? I don't know. Should we look at Bitcoin for the Oracle? Let's see. What's Bitcoin doing on the full hour? It had its first bad trade that we saw on this channel last week. Yeah, middle of last week, after having a pretty good run here on the 4 hour. It actually did fire off another buy signal yesterday. Yeah, yesterday midday it looks like. Is this going to be the next bad one? Is this going to be the next loser? Well, I guess only time will tell. Anyways, okay, so we spoke about that. Now I want to get into, what time are we at? 11 minutes right now. I want to just quickly highlight this project that I am an investor in, just for full disclosure. Like, I'm biased as fuck. But basically it is a data analyzation tool that essentially quantifies and classifies a multitude of different, indicators and signals, and processes them for, like, do you have, what are your probabilities in this direction, essentially, and it runs on basically all of the major pairs. Like I said, they do have a free Discord where you can actually just see these signals in real time. You can check out their Discord just by going to their Twitter, which is at MetaSignals, METASIGNALS, just one word, and you can find it through their website. But basically, this one was on Matic. I sent this one this morning. This one actually happened over the weekend, but I just want to kind of highlight, how it works here and kind of what you're looking at. It's just like a quick little card that you see on Discord, and it tells you, hey, this is, pay attention to these areas over here. This is kind of where we'd be looking for based off of the data. And well, as you can see, the value in something like this, not necessarily in my opinion, because I don't really care too much about this sort of shit, but if you're, not too many people are probably paying attention to Matic on an hourly on a fucking Saturday, right? And it caught this move, I believe, right around here. Yeah, so that was this whole move, or the good bulk of this move over here, which is almost 5%, not bad. So I know a lot of people are a lot more interested in these sort of things as time kind of chugs along, and the market becomes a little more interesting overall. Again, myself, I'm not so much, but I do know that a lot of people are motivated by these things out there, and fair enough, more power to you. So again, that's a project that I invested in, MetaSignals. They're going to be doing more and more stuff like that. They're going to be posting, their results. They're going to be posting their stuff. Yeah, at some point they'll have a paid service, but for right now, you can literally just steal their fucking free shit, because that's the point. It's like they want to show, hey, we have something over here that we believe is valuable, and if you believe it's valuable too, well, then jump on board. But if you don't, then you can just take the free shit anyway. So all good. I think that's probably the best way to handle like a product like that, just in general. It's like, all right, there you go. It's kind of the same thing that I do for the Oracle. It's like, hey, if you like this shit over here, all right, maybe consider it. By the way, they're having a Black Friday sale. Code BF30, all capitals. Anyways, I'm rambling on for too long now, doing too much shilling over here. It's Black Friday almost, so you can expect a lot more shilling, just because, that's like the best time to have a sale, right? And we'll have a sale starting tomorrow as well. So surprise, surprise, crazy. Anyways, yeah, I'll be signing off on that note. As always, I want to wish you the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow, Wednesday.